Good morning, YouTube viewers. I've got bad news about Draftsight. It's been free for many years now since they started making it. Dassault Systems announced um, that at the end of 2019, your current versions that you have that are using will stop working. So even your free versions that you've previously downloaded and are using will stop working at the end of 2019. But it is no longer free to download. I've got this forum on Draftsight open so that you can see all of the information. So right here, you can see that all free versions of Draftsight 2018 or earlier will cease to run after 12/31/19. And then the new Draftsight 2019 is offered in paid versions only. Once you download and install Draftsight 2019, you will no longer be able to re-download or access any previous free version of Draftsight 2018 or early. The 30-day trial, it's a free 30-day trial, but you will have to pay in the end. So, I read through this entire um, forum post, um, and it's not good news. They seem to confirm that yes, Draftsight is no longer free. The other the other post that they're referring to here on the kitty dump, this is another guy reiterating the fact that all free versions of Draftsight 2018 or earlier will cease to run after 12/31/2019. This to me is a very bad way for Dassault to handle this. When these were downloaded previously, they were offered as free versions. And although I don't use Draftsight very often, I mean, it's a free version. I just use it occasionally whenever I have to clean up some DWG file or a DXF file. Um, or I need a quick electrical circuit that I need to present. It works well for that. For electrical, 2D is fine. And I know there's some people out there that are using it in architectural for elevations, etc. And perhaps there's a few who are using it to do sheet metal as well. I mean, for sheet metal, most of the time you do panels and you locate cutouts, etc., on a flat sheet that's part of a bigger panel or box that gets welded together, and that's fine. It worked fine for that. You don't need a 3D version to do these things, but you don't really run into this need for 2D very often. But when you do, you either have to pay for AutoCAD Lite, which is $400 a year, I think, and it's only on subscription, which is really sucks. Which is what Draftsight appears to be doing as well. It seems like it might be a subscription version. So I'm very disappointed in this. I'm very disappointed in SolidWorks, Dassault Systems, and Draftsight. Um, I was hoping that we would be able to use Draftsight for years to come. I thought maybe that was Dassault's answer to the 2D problem that we often run into. What happens with 3D is when you create a 2D drawing from a 3D object and you do your layouts and uh, views, it's always on a 2D uh, flat flat drawing in order to get it made, for machining or whatever process is used to create parts. And then you can export that usually in a lot of 3D software packages as DXF, which more often than not, when you try to open that DXF in AutoCAD or some other DXF program, there's always these little small problems that you have to go in and clean up before you can actually use them. And Draftsight was perfect for that, for just doing cleanup. So the problem is that we will no longer have even the free version at the end of 2019. There are some free versions out there that I have not used. I do not know how good they are. Um, so, you can just take your chances and find out. But they're supposed to be free. That's one that's in this uh, forum thread. I suggest you copy the address at the top of the bar, type it in. I don't have the ability to do links in my video because I don't have enough views. Uh, but the free versions are there. Uh, some, they talk, like I said, they talk about it a little bit in this thread, what the different versions are capable of doing. But you have to just download them and try them. There's a list down further in this thread of some free versions of 2D CAD software. And again, I don't know whether they will convert DWG to DXF or what their capabilities are. That's just up to you to go and find out what they are. So as we scroll on down, I'm scanning, trying to find that list. Okay, there's one, QCAD. Um, but there's one post that has a list of free versions out on the internet somewhere. And as I scroll down, I'll keep looking for that list. Here we go. Here's the list. So again, the LibreCAD, since it's multiple platforms, you can use it on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Uh, that's probably the one I'm going to try first because I've used the LibreCAD Office or the LibreOffice and it works pretty good. It's a free version of Office uh, that can view Office files. But anyway, that's the one I'm going to try to download is the LibreCAD and try it out to see how well it works. So there's another thread here um, that also talks about it. I mentioned before, but this um, this is really bad news. I'm really disappointed in Dassault, and I really don't understand why they're they're making all of our free versions no longer valid after the end of this year. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, copy the address at the top, and uh, I think the new version is like 100. I think it's still subscription. I think it's $199 a year. I'm kind of browsing through to see if I can find that information. But I suggest you look at this thread and try to determine what really the deal is, but I know that it's pay after, from now on. And I believe it's pay every year. And I believe I read it was $199 a year American, whatever that converts to. Um, so, yeah, sorry to hear that this is really um, bad news for Dassault. I like SolidWorks. I just think they're making a bad decision. Uh, I mean, it's fine that they don't want to give it away anymore as free. Maybe it's an upgrade that they just don't want to give away, but why they're shutting off all the old free versions is really beyond me. Anyway, that's all I have. Keep doing everyday things. See you next time.